Again, my name is Wei Fan Lian. I'm the Partner Solutions Architect with AWS. I lead the joint innovation and product integrations with our top strategic partners in data AI space, like Confluent. And I was here 2 years ago, Austin, Colin, so thrilled to come back and good to see some familiar face as well. Glad to have you here. By the way, I'm based in Michigan, been with AWS over 4 years now. So I also got Pascal with me today.
Yeah, so hi, everybody. I'm Pascal. I'm a senior director at Confluent. Worked there for about 6 years now. I have a very strong French accent because I'm French, but I live in Toronto. And so my role in all that was to write the demo. And we've been working together for, about 2 years now?
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting adventure, I have to say. I will tell you a little bit more. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. But it's excellent to work with my partner.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that. It's great collaboration for Confluent and AWS work together, and lots of fun. So we have packed agenda today, and first of all, I'll give you some introduction. I'm glad to hear someone heard about Bedrock, heard about Gen AI, but not necessarily know exactly what AWS offers. And also, we talk about one key message today. Probably you heard from keynote as well. Data is your differentiator. Data foundation is your differentiator for your Gen AI applications. And then we talk about how you leverage data to build these applications and talk about how we partner together and help you, customers, to accelerate and adopt Gen AI, also get your business value. And as Pascal mentioned, we collaborate 2 years. Last year, we coined a very cool term called KRAC. We talk more about that, and then we show you the demo, how it actually works, and give you some resource to take away as well. With that, I want to start with Gartner. This number, it wouldn't surprise you, predict by 2026, now it's like 2024, just 2 years down the road, 80% of the enterprise will adopt generative AI applications. But I want to do a real-time live kind of survey here. How many of you or your organization already exploring or running something on Gen AI? Raise your hand. Wow, see, match that number. It did not surprise me. And the other number I want to share with you as data practitioner, we look at the productivity, but I think it's across the board, right? Regardless your role. You could be marketing manager, you could be program manager, you could be IT manager, you could be individual contributor, engineer. But productivity is key thing of our day-to-day life, right? We try every method to improve our productivity. And the good news is, with Gen AI, based on some of the customer feedback, it's 30% improved from productivity with high quality of the deliverable as well. And Goldman Sachs also run a number, predict in 10 years, the whole market for Gen AI add to the GDP $7 trillion US dollars, trillion, T, not B, and 1.5 productivity increase. That may be a bit abstract, 1.5. But let's look at the use case. How would that translate to our day-to-day life, right? And in all business, this is basically just for the convenience. We group them into 4 groups, but they could have other use cases as well. New experience. Now with Gen AI, with the smartness, your customer service center, your call center now interact with the customer, could provide new experience. And productivity, right? We don't need to say more. If you run anything in Gen AI space, you realize that. And the insights give you more insights. Now you can connect all your domain-specific knowledge and run into the Gen AI, and you get further insight to your business, to your customers. And creativity. Right? Now you have new method, new tool for your product development and create new content. So it's all exciting use case, and we see also expanding as well. But when we talk about generative AI, lots of time, you probably just get the focus on large language models, foundation models, right? It's like the proverbial iceberg. We only see the tip of the ice. In fact, a lot underneath, right? Talking about data, the foundation. And we all know that storage to begin with, where you put your data, and lots of your business is in the highly regulated business. And where's the data store is important. How you're going to use your data also important. And now coming to governance, right? Compliance, regulation, and also all this analytic and data integration, how you move your data around, how you process, streaming come into place as well, right? And with all this, you think about how you compute or run your compute engine when the data is in place. So really, it's more than 90%. I just make a number for you, right? Happening is in the data foundation. And if one or two key takeaway you can take home, remember this. Your data is your differentiator. Think about that. Pretty much everyone have access to the same model, right? And what's the uniqueness of your business? It's you knowing your business. You know your customer. You have your internal data domain knowledge. That's how you make the difference. That's how you provide the unique value to the market, to your customers. And what's the choice, right? We all know data is foundation. I would boldly say that AWS is the best place for you to build the data foundation. And just look at this diagram, right? On one hand, it's very broad. I'm not sure you can actually see that, but it doesn't matter because AWS have over 200 services. So even you recognize some of that for myself, some of them new too. But here is the key thing, right? Even with this broad portfolio, it's comprehensive, but it's open. It's work together, just like Confluent with external as well. We have the data here, any data, any place, but it's connected, and it's interchangeable, right? And integrate. And one good thing is also end-to-end govern, because now you can see where your data origin from, where your data move to, and how your data is consumed. And also, some of you probably writing check for your business, right? Cost is important. You look at the performance, you look at the cost effective, right? And on top of that, that's a single platform, not just for ODS, operational data store, or not just for your data lake or lakehouse or warehouse. It's really in one world. Now converging the operational data to analytical data in one single platform in AWS. So now let's take a pause, right? Talk about data, how the Gen AI will work with the data. And we have seen customers usually have three methods how to make the Gen AI to work with your data. It's the RAG, right? Retrieval Augmented Generation. You probably heard this term. Any of you, don't be shy. If you haven't heard about RAG, raise your hand. Okay, appreciate that, appreciate that. And not to make that as a fashion, we all know Gen AI is already a hype, right? But we do see customers trying to get more new in addition to the RAG as the hype from last year, right? And RAG, basically, you don't modify the model. That's one key thing, remember. For RAG architecture, you don't change your foundation model. What you do is basically trying to provide additional context to make that retrieval more meaningful. Now, the augment is like you provide additional data, either internal or external, is more related to your business. It makes the results more relevant to you, the intelligence more relevant. Right? For fine-tuning, you slightly add additional data. It's different. The fine-tuning word is like you make a copy of the model. The model was trained by general data. Now you provide your specific domains data to train the model a little bit to tailor your business. For example, if you're writing proposal, if some of you in consulting, right, you know some of the proposal is really good proposal, and you want to label those proposal, and you fine-tune the models, pointing, okay, this is my good proposal. In the future, if I write proposal, right, Gen AI create proposal for you, that's the good example, right? And come to the third one, continue pre-training. Now it's like you take the model, right? You put the raw data and continue to train. It's just like when they create a model, but with your own domain-specific data to train the model. I will talk more about that later when we talk about architecture, but just remember these three approaches for now. And How many of you seen this stack? And this is AWS 3-layer stacks. That surprised me. I thought at least 80% of people seen this. I was thinking about to skip this slide, and I checked with Duncan saying, oh, he said, I want to know more about Bedrock. Okay, so this is AWS GenAI offering, and you can see that's 3 layers from the bottom to the top, and it's really talking about infrastructure, right? And how you make the GenAI work is the GPU, is the all this computing EC2, and also the Nitron neuron as well. When we talk about chip, probably you notice in the news, NVIDIA is our long-term relationship partner, and the Blackwell is going to be available on AWS in the GTC announcement. But on the other hand, you're probably not aware of AWS also have our own chip. If you check the news yesterday, it's actually in the news. I do not want to talk more about that, but we do have Trainium for training and Influentia for inference. So we have our own chip, basically the full stack in the infrastructure side. And in the middle, that's the Bedrock, right? The Bedrock, think about that. It's a fully managed GenAI service. When you use Bedrock, as a user, you just make the API call, you get the result back. And depends on which model you choose, right? So the beauty, I will talk more in 2 slides about Bedrock. But here, remember, right, all this beauty with Bedrock is enterprise ready, with all the guardrails, with the security in place, and it's AWS fully managed service. And on top of that, it's really about applications, right? It's the value directed to your business. You run Bedrock, then what, right? And 2 things I want to call out for the application that you could build more. Here, just 2 from AWS offering. One is the Amazon Q. The other one is the App Studio. App Studio was announced just 2 months ago in New York Summit back in July. Now let's look at what's Amazon Q. Any of you heard about Amazon Q? Ah, that's good. Oops, sorry, I make backward. All right. So Amazon Q, actually, you can think about on the high level 3 categories. One is for your business, one for developers, and one is specialized user, right? And the business side may be easy to think about, right? You can create the application, you can run the report, you can do a proposal, and that's Bedrock can help you here. And also, Q right here, and Q in QuickSight, and you probably already run some QuickSight for your report, right? The narrative already have this. But with Amazon Q, even make your narrative create a compelling story for you, not just the dashboard, not just the report, and actually provide you more narrative and relevant to your business, and you can present to your executives. And on the developer side, it can help you not just coding. Actually, it's the full life cycle of development, from planning, from design, to coding, to deployment, and another iteration, and it's the full development cycle. And for Amazon Q, we also have right now 2 business usage area. One is for the supply chain, and the other one is for the connect in call center, right? This assistant can help when the call coming, and Amazon Q in Connect can help the agent to understand what's the customer calling from, right? It's all basic business, but the smartness and the intelligence keep enhancing. I think I covered some of that for the benefits of use Amazon Q. For example, unite all your data source, right? Because you may have data silos somewhere. With Amazon Q, you can connect to the right data source, your own repository, and also available where you work, right? It's not like standalone. It's like all over the place, either in your AWS console, AWS documentation, and also in some of your enterprise application, you can have the Amazon Q readily available for you to assist you. And delivering this assistance, we already have many customers build this assistant based on Amazon Q. Now coming to Bedrock, right? Again, this is fully managed service and give you the choice, right? Give you the choice, you can have your own preference of the foundation model. And we have the leading model provider, show a slide in next minute. And for this one, also you can customize. I already mentioned a few things in the 3 approach, how you customize based on your data and work with your data. And one more thing I want to highlight is, well, for Bedrock provider agents, and we also see the customers have more adoption and also in this multi-agents, right? And sometimes the business process flow is very complicated. You integrate, right? For example, just take one common one, insurance claim, right? And a few process. How you make the agent work, go through this multi-test, right? And Bedrock can provide that. And security, privacy, and safety, not to say that is job 0 for AWS coming to security. And here's the list of the leading model provider and all available in Bedrock. And you can see from AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta as well for the Lambda, and also for Mistral and Stability. And Amazon have our own models, but it's up to customer choice, right? And which one you want to pick. And I want to highlight Anthropic. You can see this one, Claude 3.5, already available on AWS. That's the latest one. And you know how fast this space evolved. And today have this version, and tomorrow may upgrade. And this is one of the most challenging slides for me to keep up to date because sometimes I have to update in real time because the latest progress. How many of you heard about Claude? OK, I already see hands. Seems like you must be excited. Glad you are using it. Oh, great. May I ask which organization you work with? Oh. Wow, great. This is a simple slide, but the message also very simple. I like this morning the keynote, Jay talked about simple, powerful, right? So this is simple. Bedrock is simple to use, but it's powerful. Why it's powerful? Because you customize, use with your data, and that's the powerful part. And you can see here, here's your data, here's Bedrock, right? And with all these methods, you really customize this Bedrock model with your choice, with your data, and you generate and produce the value out of that. Now I want to dive deep a little bit. Probably you're already familiar with this diagram, right? But on the left-hand side is the end user side, right? The interaction, and Pascal is going to show a demo later on, and you can see how the virtual assistant and interact with the engine behind that, right? But really, the beauty is behind the scene and how the data process, right? And you can see from here, I'm not sure you can really see that. Sorry for that small font in the back. Here's the behind the scene, right? You can see the data flow, right? I'm not going to walk you through the whole thing, but remember a few things, right? In the data space, you have data stored somewhere, and then you have data processed, and then in the end, you produce the intelligence or insight. And basically, all this data flow is around that. And you can see streaming injection here, inject to the data source, and then you have the batch streaming process here and bring the result back here, right? And underneath is the data integration and data governance across, right? Regardless the front end or the back end. And here's just the detail talking about behind the scenes, right? And you can, let me see if I can call out anything here. Oh, you see the vector data store? That's the semantic context. You store that in the vector data store. And that's up to your choice as well, right? Depends on what's your need. And we offer different vector data store from AWS and also with our partner as well. So in AWS, we have OpenSearch, we have RDS, we also have, what's the latest one? Man, I draw blank. But for the partner, we have Pinecone, we have MongoDB, right, and Elastic as well. So it's a big space to work with, and you have other options as well. And then here's the Bedrock. And you can see the whole flow, how it works. I hope I addressed some of your earlier concern, where's the Bedrock, how it works. And I want to highlight this one, where's Confluent, right? This is the whole streaming conference. And here's, sorry, the laser pointer. And you see Confluent right here? There are two key architectural components, and streaming play a key role here to make the data or information relevant, also up to date, right? And ingestion part, streaming ingestion, you're probably all familiar with that. And you bring the process part as well. Now with Flink, right, is processing engine. So it worked out very well. And one more thing, I actually talked to Confluent team early this morning. I said, probably some people not realize you can actually leverage the store part as well from streaming, because now you process one topic can consume many times, right? You store one copy and you consume many times, and it's stored there and you can replay. So it's really powerful message. If you come back to your organization, you want to really run some Gen AI application, remember the real-time intelligence play a key role here. And this one, similar to RAG, right? The only thing different is here. Because now you add additional data to your fine-tuning, for your continued training, now you bring actual data from your data lake or data warehouse to bring you the domain-specific knowledge to help you customize the model. And again, Confluent play a key role here in the streaming place. Wow. Probably that would take 2 minutes at least, but I want to save enough time for Pascal. I can address your question. In fact, not commercial, but we do have a meetup session. We talk about the integration, Confluent and AWS at 4 in the meetup. We talk deep about all this AWS integration, and sometimes you may see some overlapping for two services, but the choice is you look at your use case. Can I hold that question? I will come back to you for details. Yeah. But I love any customer feedback. And oh, it's not showing NASDAQ. OK, showing here, not here. Sorry. When we talk about this all technology, right, we want to get the customer perspective. Thank you for asking the question again. And for NASDAQ, it's a good customer case because it's not just the volume of data, right? Think about the market data, and also the relevance of the timing, right? When the trading happening and fluctuating, and what's the insight. For this customer case, it's working on the Bedrock to create new kinds of surveillance, right? Intelligence report, and basically to check the insider trading, right? And sometimes the insider trading is really tricky, right? And you want to get the data volume, but on the other hand, you also truly want to have the intelligence to tag that. That's insider trading. And one thing I want to highlight is the outcome, right? Before, of course, the same job. You need the insider trading report, but lots of human work. And here, with the assistance, improve the productivity 33%, and even higher quality of the report. Another case I want to share with you, the customer, is Ingress. Right? Probably not that familiar with this company, but a very cool company. They're in business over 20 years. They start 2004. They start accumulate data, traffic data. And over 20 years, they have 50 petabytes of data and sitting there. Right? Now with the Gen AI, they actually all this intelligence out, combined with the real-time trafficking information, and provide the customer with the insight, where to park the car, which route to take, and also help the transportation agency provide more insight as well. So it's a very good case. And you can check out more Gen AI use case from our website and with the reference, with the solution. Talk about customers. I want to spend 2 minutes talk about our partner. And that's the reason we are here. Again, high level here, just showing Confluent native integrate with AWS services, right? Just some example, Redshift, S3, OpenSearch, DynamoDB, Lambda. The list can go on and on. Here, just a few examples. And also, we integrate with third party, for example, Mongo, Elastic, and Databricks, Snowflake. Again, a long list, just showing some examples here. And on the right-hand side, the box is really showing Confluent have great achievements in two competence, data analytics, and also in financial services. And you know AWS have very high bar, and to achieve that, they have to demonstrate their success with customers. And also in the technology part, go through all this well-architected review as well. And Confluent also achieved this service ready with quite a few of our AWS services. Again, Redshift, Outpost. I want to highlight the private link because when you come into Confluent, lots of time networking selection will be one of the top considerations as well. I'm an architect, so I want to visualize this. Pretty much the same content as previous slide, but it's really showing how Confluent connect data anywhere, any format, and bring the data to AWS, and you can continue the innovation on AWS. And if you can remember a few keywords, it's about connect, right? With the pre-built connectors, 100+ Confluent connectors, connect any data, and bridge, right, from anywhere, on-prem, other cloud, or even the edge side, and bridge the data with cluster linking. And on AWS side, there are different methods to get the data from streaming to AWS. And you can see here, traditional way connector, sync connector, and also have the event sourcing mapping. We have that to trigger Lambda. And we are building more to provide you as the first-party experience on AWS as well. For example, you can click and have Confluent on AWS Athena console. I'm not sure you can see here. So we'll talk more in the makeup session again if you want to learn more about our integration. And you can see here, and with our third-party, Mongo and Snowflake. Oh, by the way, 3 o'clock, there's a section when Mongo team present. They will present our collaboration on these 3 companies together and build a Gen AI application. But I definitely want to leave enough time for Pascal to talk about exciting demo.
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm just going to give a little bit of history of what happened. Like 2 years ago, I started working with my friend here. And we just starting on a very simple use case where we are trying to mostly create some business loan for small businesses, right? So the idea is like you are a client and I'm connecting to a web UI and I'm just say, hey, I need a loan for buying a new computer for my business. The idea is like to have a generative AI smart enough that it can collect the necessary information to create like a pre-approval system that a human can obviously approve or reject at the end, right? That adventure was like my first real time where I was playing around with like generative AI, and it was super interesting. And I have to say, working with the Amazon team was like a really great experience, and I really enjoy every single minute. Now we moving further, and we decided to add like more RAG oriented with our other partner called Elastic, which is a great database where the idea was, why don't we just like use database for only vectors, right? So not only unstructured data are very usable for creating prompt and give more context, right? So the idea was to use structured and unstructured data in one central place and the same database. The advantage of Elastic is doing both, right? So they have a great vector story, and they have obviously, and everybody knows, that you can store structured data into Elastic. So all that coming to place, we decided to start working on that new demo, same base, but a new demo, and my friend from Confluent, Edward, did the work. I have to say, I'm not taking the credit. He's awesome. He's going to watch the video after, so that's why I have to say it. So the idea was really to prove that the platform with AWS and Bedrock were able to generate like a really interesting use cases where we can bring data in real time, where you get like information about like what your client is, what his credit score, for example, and so on and so forth. Do the request into a structured/unstructured database, get that information, create your prompt, and then show the result and send that to Bedrock and get everything, right? So that was a very interesting challenge, and I think we did really well on that side. Sorry. Taking the, you're gonna be the judge, honestly. But it was very interesting. One of the things we really like, and I like saying a lot, is like the microservices architecture we're using for like at Confluent, and especially in generative AI world, where it takes time to do things in Gen AI. When your prompt needs to be parsed by Bedrock, and then you have like he has to generate the content and send it back, it can be slow. The problem is like doing API-driven type of architecture where you go do a call and it's blocked until like your whole entire process is done. You may have a system down, one of your services down, and then it's going to take time. You need to start having some more piece of code. One of the things I really like with microservices architecture is like, first of all, your unit of work can be very small, and then you can scale your microservices based on what you want. And you can update your microservice, your system's still not down. You still can process things. And then when you start up your microservices, the capabilities of Confluent, by replaying your event, you can just start when you left off, play your events, and then you get the result for your user. So it's increase your availability, it's increase your elasticity, and you can scale, right? So today your business maybe like as a startup, for example, might be like 100,000 users. But tomorrow you inspire to be 1 million users, right? So what you want is to have an infrastructure that can scale based on your demand, scale up and down based on your demand. So you can also save money and also respond to the demand of your users, right? And one of the things I really like with Bedrock is that it's like there is a high availability. You can choose which model you want to use. So if you need performance and going fast, you can use a model that's really fast. Maybe not that accurate, but responds really fast. But you can have also like a very accurate model that's a bit slow, but your infrastructure can take the load, right? So that was like an interesting journey in my side, because like I learned a lot about generative AI and working with AWS friend, and so it was very interesting. I have to say it was a great. So like again, this demo we built was with Elastic, AWS Bedrock, and Confluent Cloud, obviously. One of the things we are using now, and it's early access for some of our customers, is Flink AI. So we have a very tight integration between us and Bedrock today. We're using Flink AI. So it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with Flink, but it's a SQL base, right? So you can write your SQL query like the same way you do with Flink SQL, but instead you can call a remote inference. One of the really cool stuff, like for example, if your vector database doesn't have an integration with an embedding system, right? You can use Titan to generate your own embeddings with Flink AI and then index that into your vector database and then use it for next time for your prompt. One of the really cool stuff, and I keep talking about it over and over, it's like prompt is one of the main things it's super important for your generative AI. Your prompt is everything that your generative AI will use to be able to be informed of what's going on, right? And one of the capabilities of Confluent Cloud is the replay capabilities. So you can tune your prompt with the same data by just replaying the events and over again. You can test your prompt, you can test different models to get the best result for your users. So here is like high-level architecture. There's not that many boxes because anyway, I don't like too much boxes. My friend Edward did that drawing. So it's mostly like this one is just document indexes. You get your document into your topic. It can be the entire document if you want, based on the size, obviously, or it can be just a pointer on where to find the file. So for your for your connector or for your code to be able to index. So in this case, we use Flink, for example. We get the document, and we use Bedrock to create the indexing, the vector, and then we send that to Elasticsearch. One of the interesting side of Elasticsearch, there's also an integration with Bedrock directly. So you can choose to send your document directly to Elasticsearch and use their capability to connect directly to Bedrock to index the document properly. They do the slicing and everything, and one of the really interesting things they do, and something I really encourage everyone, is to keep metadata with your chapter, for example, right? So you have a giant document, you split it, and you index every single, like a paragraph, for example, and you should always keep metadata. Where is your paragraph? Which document is it? Where to find it? And things like that. Because one of the things the user wants is to look at the document that was used to generate the answer. And that comes with, like, by keeping metadata around your document you indexed. We're going to go to the next slide. And this one is more like, I am the user and I'm starting typing my question and have an interaction with a generative AI. And that's how you leverage the Confluent infrastructure at the same time. Is like you have a WebSocket API where you just like get the request from the user, post that into a topic. You obviously need to keep like a correlation ID so you can respond back to the proper user. And then you can scale your microservices like that, right? So based on what you need, you can up and down like the processing. In that example, we just put one box, but there was multiple boxes because we needed to generate the prompt, and the prompt is generated through like a microservice also. But like it's interesting is like that the way it was is literally we keep an history on like the conversation, and we use also Bedrock to do the summarization of all that, because what we are trying to do is to keep the prompt as small as possible. One of the problem I notice, and it's the problem of like generative AI, is more your prompt is big, slower is the system's becoming, right? Even if the performance is getting better and better and better, but optimizing your prompt is one of the things you need to do. And more you get, like, for example, if you have like days and days of conversation with a human, it can be a lot of conversations that you have to give to the AI to be able to understand the context of it. So what you do is, like, as you go throughout the conversation or the documents, you can use your LLM also, like Bedrock, to be able to summarize all that and to get a way smaller prompt so that your generative AI still perform in a relatively good way. I'm going to run a video, so technically I can run it in real time, but the internet is really bad, and I had some people asking me, oh no, don't do that because it doesn't really work well. And let me, yeah, here we go. So here we go. Bloop. Okay. I'm going to do the voiceover. There is no, Edward was a little bit shy to do the voiceover at the same time. So like the idea is like you are a registered user into the platform and you log in, right? So this picture of my boss. So you ask, like, I need to buy like a new drill for $4,000. One of the cool aspects of that is because we are an authenticated user, he knows who you are. So you already have information about your credit score, for example, and your name and your situation and stuff like that. And we feed that to Bedrock to get the best result. One of the things we wanted to show is like what the document we use to be able to generate that prompt and get the proper answer. So we have a product, all our products are into Elastic, and we use that to do a request and find the right product for the right user based on what the user is asking. As you can see, like we have a bunch of text and using like bunch of like the data from that. One of the ask on the AI is to collect the information, and we used at that time we developed that demo function was not something really done in AI. What's happening is like we were asking our prompt, like when you have all the required information, which is like the social security number and so on and so forth, just give me a tag so I can detect that in another microservices, so I can collect that information, generate a JSON, so we can create now a payload that a human can do the final approval. So all that is done within the microservices and the architecture of like Bedrock and Confluent Cloud. It's really cool. As you can see, it works well. I think it's like we have like a longer video where we have more and more and more. We can just stop the video for now, and I'm gonna give that back to you.
I thought you continue the whole demo and people will just jump in. I can
No, because it will be good to have like a Q&A at the end.
Yeah. And also the blog, and as Pascal mentioned, the longer version of video demo also available online. So closing out, actually talk a lot. It doesn't mean much, but if you put your hands on, start experiment. Glad to see in the beginning when you raise hand, you already did the first one, move quickly, right? And now with Bedrock, you can customize. When you customize, really take the approach, which model you choose, right? And what data you want to use, and what's the right approach for your business. And scale. I think that's one keyword I really like working in this space. Confluent talk the same thing. Building one stream is easy, right? But if you want to support your enterprise scale, the same thing for Gen AI. You experiment, some chatting may be easy, but when you scale enterprise-grade application, that's the real fun part. And we also have some, go ahead. No, I think I closed out just some resource for you. If you want to scan the QR code, that's the use case, that's the solutions library, and also we have some hands-on workshop. So it's already there, and you can just play around. I give you a second so you can take a picture.
I think the slide's going to be available online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Will be available online. So if you miss that, that's fine. And you can always check out AWS site. And the other thing I want to mention, the AI Day. Confluent is going to host an AI Day in San Francisco. Free. Sign up and have fun there and connect with the peer to explore the intelligence. I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that.